Tokyo! How they live in Tokyo! If you see it, then you mean it, then you know you have to go. Fast and Furious! Drift, 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 fast and furious! Drift, drift, drift! Love. Hi guys, today I'm reviewing Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift. So, man, this is like one of the ones that I've edged so well. It's just so fun to watch. And the soundtrack, definitely the best in the franchise. Like, there's just so many great songs in this movie. So many. Yeah. And yeah, the story is definitely aged well as well because I also wasn't really a big fan of the main character, played by Lucas Black. So basically, I guess Sean Boswell is kind of like a misbehaving kid, and he basically gets kicked out of school. I think he basically gets in like into a race that's not really allowed to do, and I guess it causes a lot of damage, especially since he can't even drift until he goes to Tokyo. I guess he basically does a race over a girl, and I guess the car that he would have won, but yeah. But instead, I guess all of them end up in like a car crash. But the ones who I guess have parents that have a lot of power, I guess those kids don't get in trouble. But our main character Sean, I guess he does get in trouble. So basically, he gets sent to Tokyo as his punishment. But really, that's not really a punishment. I mean, he's getting to go to Tokyo. Like, I've always wanted to go to Tokyo. Yeah, and he basically stays with his father because I guess normally like when he moves places, it's with his mother, but this time he has to stay with his father. And then that's when we get to meet Han and Bow Wow. Well, Bow Wow's character Twinkie, and Han, like a lot of people's favorite character, played by Sukan. And it's cool that he's gonna be back in Fast 9, which yeah, it'd be cool to see him again. Because Han's just like the coolest character, I guess. Because basically, when he goes to Tokyo, he's only supposed to go to like school. But basically, he gets into the, I guess, the drifting gig, and basically meets Han, and I guess gets into that. But when he tries to get into the drifting, he's very bad. His car gets destroyed when he's fighting DK, I think. Yeah, I think that's the guy's name. And he has a friend called Morimoto. Yeah, I guess they're the two villains in the movie. I don't know if I can count his uncle. Like, is it Uncle Kamata? Yeah. But yeah, basically the main character's dad, Major Boswell, is the one who is supposed to be looking after him. And I guess if, Sean breaks any of the rules, he'll be kicked out, I guess. Or get sent to prison. Yeah. Because this is like his last chance. So he's trying not to mess it up, but Also, I guess he also likes a girl in the school, Neela, because there's only like three people who are not Asian in this movie. Well, four, I guess, but three main characters, which is Sean, Twinkle, however I should call his name, and Neela. Yeah. So I guess he fancies her. Bow Wow's character Twinkle is actually a cool character. He's a bit funny. I mean, he's not Woman P as funny, but he's a good character. Like that scene when he has that Hulk car, like that's just funny. Like making us think that he has a bad car. I mean, a bad ass car, but instead it's just well, I wouldn't say it's a bad car. It's cool, but yeah, I guess the main characters was expecting better. Yeah, I guess it's just trying to get used to being in Tokyo, and then when he gets more into Han's business, that's when I guess he becomes a better drifter and stuff. I can actually beat people in races because he basically eventually beats what's the guy's name again? Morimoto. Yeah, and basically loses his car. Yeah, and what else happens? Like he basically has to do deals for because basically when Sean first lost, he had to do deals for Han to make up for it, and he eventually beats Morimoto, and they're just I guess selling things on the street and stuff with like Sean and I guess Twinkle. And what else can I say about this movie? I guess Neela is with the bad guy of the movie DK, and I guess things are getting kind of intense with them. But eventually she just leaves DK because of how she's getting treated, and goes with Sean, I guess. because DK didn't really like Sean hanging out with his girl and beats him one time, like beats him up. Yeah. It's also cool that you actually get to see proper drift kings as well in this movie. When Sean's training to become a better drifter. When Han's training him, you actually get to see driftkins in the movie, which is cool. Like real life ones. Yeah. And what else? Yeah, like I said, this movie has an awesome soundtrack. I mean, there's just so many to note, man. Like, my life be like, ooh, wow, like, I love that song. I mean, there's just so many songs in this movie. But yeah, I just don't know if I've, like, said any big spoilers or anything, but I guess I'll just say spoilers now. Because basically, later on in the movie, Han dies, and if you guys have watched the movies afterwards, they kind of explain how he dies, but then with what's gonna happen, they also need to explain how he's alive. It's a bit complicated with that anyway, that storyline. As for DK, basically, I guess his father's business is kind of getting robbed, and he's not happy about that. Well, not father, sorry, uncle, and basically when it comes to Japanese families, especially when they're in like illegal businesses and stuff, or just basically when it comes down to honor, like if you feel ashamed, you just feel like you're feeling like you're letting down your family basically. So they'll do anything to make things right, basically. Yeah, and that's when things get intense with the main characters and DK. Yeah, for what he's willing to do, because he basically goes after Han, and they basically get into a little fight, but then I guess DK tries to escape, and then that's when that huge chase happens, and you get to see that part where the crowd are like in the way, but then like you know DK and all the other characters just drift through the crowd. Like, that's a cool scene. And then there's the scene when Han gets hit by a car, which we don't really know who that is until a later movie. If that was even supposed to be an actual important character later on who hits Han, and then Han's car blows up, and then we think he's dead for who knows how many years. My God, like over a decade, we thought Han was dead all that time, and then they lead up to us. They lead up to explaining how Han died and everything in future movies. Yeah, and then for the rest of the movie, it's just about basically because there is still that feud, and DK wants to kill Sean, and yeah, basically he takes Neela, but he basically makes a deal at the end instead of leaving because his father sees how much danger he's in and kind of helps him from getting killed by DK. But Sean wants to stay behind and just sort out things, even though like if that was real life, you'd feel like you're letting your son get killed, like just letting him try to handle this by himself. I mean, I think the message was because he wasn't really a good father and he didn't really be there for his son. I mean, that kind of message, but it just didn't really come out right. Yeah. Also, the Neela and Sean relationship is, I guess, okay. I mean, it's kind of more like a teenage relationship kind of thing, but whatever. It's not. It doesn't really affect the movie to me. Yeah. But basically, Sean makes a deal that basically, like, the family will leave Sean alone and his friends and Neela if he wins. But I guess if he loses, I don't know if, like, he dies or something and they just take the money back or whatever. But basically, it's down this mountain, which we get shown from Neela before. It kind of reminds me of Need for Speed Carbon. In that game, when every time you fight a boss, it's on that mountain, and you can actually make the bosses fall down on the mountain, and that's what happens to DK at the end of the movie. Yeah, and I'm just surprised that the uncle's not like, man, is my nephew or whatever alive? Like, what happened to him? He's just like, you win, and then they play the song again, the Tokyo song, Tokyo Drift song. Lol. Fast and Furious, drift, drift. No, love that song. And then at the end, we get to see Dominic Toretto with his little cool song, and it looks like we're gonna get to see him race, but we actually don't. But basically, like, I guess Dominic Toretto's there for an important reason, but we don't really find out until Fast and Furious 7. But he basically said that Han was family. Yeah, but then we don't really find out why he's truly there until, Fast and Furious 7, which we'll get to that. Because I guess I'll still be reviewing like Fast and Furious 5, 6, and 7. And then by Sunday you should see a review of the latest movie 9. I'm not reviewing 4, 8, and Hobson, Shaw, because yeah, I'm just not in the mood to rewatch those movies. They're so boring. Sorry. Well, average and boring. I mean, 4 is the boring one. The other two are just like average to me. There's just too much action in 8, and then Hobson Shaw. Like, we really should have got a like a Tyrese and Ludacris's characters should have got like a spin-off before Hobson Shaw, like, because they basically just took over the franchise, especially The Rock, because Tyrese Gibson's character, Roman Pierce, was the one who actually made the franchise more fun and made it more lively, and he doesn't get a spin-off before The Rock, like, yeah. But yeah, I guess that's my review of Tokyo Drift anyway. Just got to see Han again in Fast 9. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed my review. I guess I'll have my review of Loki tomorrow, like in the morning, because yeah, I'm gonna be watching it now, because it's downloading right now. But yeah, the review will be uploaded tomorrow. But yeah, I'll see you in the next one, guys. Peace.
One look, the heat is rising, and I've been cold for so long. One touch and